Thank you very much, Ellen, for the introduction. I hope you're all well, folks. My name is Dan Foley. I am the Finance Shared Service Director at Kier Group PLC, and I'm doing the slot for the next 25 to 30 minutes before lunchtime. I'm taking the theme from a Simple Minds album of 1995 called Good News from the Next World, and a prediction of where we think our industry will go in 2025 and 2030 therein. Before I start, I'd like to pose a question. When was the last day we felt the world felt normal? A lot of us talk about the 23rd of March being the day that lockdown officially started for some. Some people went into lockdown before, on the 16th of March 2020. My challenge back to us here today is that I firmly believe the last time the world felt normal was the day before 9/11, the 10th of December 2001. Since then, we've been in a constant state of disruption. We've been challenging technology, life, security, colour, religion, belief, standards, aviation, elements like that, at a rate of knots, much more than the previous hundreds of years before then. In fact, we find ourselves with the word disruption being part of the standard lexicon jargon that's been used in the last 5 years in particular. So the question we have to say to ourselves, what do we think our working environments will look like? Our own ways of working, our processes will feel like in the coming years. Have we got a crystal ball to look forward into 2025? Is there a magic mirror on the wall that we could look into for 2030? Let's have a look. I'm going to focus on our working environment, technology, the challenge of human against machine, our progress on data, how the end-to-end supply chain will look like, in particular, a focus on payments, something that's come into play more and more as we've come through the COVID pandemic. Without a doubt, our working environment has changed for all of us, I would have thought. COVID-19 was the breakthrough moment for those who'd never thought about outsourcing, because effectively, we've all outsourced to home. For the majority going forward, in the next years, our work and home environments will become as one, particularly as HR working environments evolve. We'll find ourselves and our organisations seeking to invest in real estate rather than, invest in technology and infrastructure rather than real estate, as that's where the benefit will be going forward. Communes will replace commute. Like-minded workers will gather together in knowledge cells and produce the elements and services needed to support the world going forward. It should be believed that sickness and stress levels should be reduced. Also taking account of mental health application and support that's needed for home working and lone workers therein. Maybe WeWork had it right in advance that co-working based on shared office space with many companies will be more and more prevalent once firewalls are strong enough for data security. Could WeWork respond and return potentially? What we would see though is virtual will become much more virtual, as 6G and 7G between 2025 and 2030 will drive even faster remote working opportunities for us. If we can imagine looking at the first iPhone, the whole element of touchscreen, voice, and all that virtual and image recognition and video technology that was available, can you imagine what it would look like going forward? Software designers, software predictors in Silicon Valley are very confident that the next 10 years will see even more increases in image recognition, which will be good for our industry, for touchscreen activity, and for both voice and virtual commentary. Individuals will change their ways of working. As economies, we may find ourselves much more focused on freelancing rather than individuals who want to be tied to a company on a long-term basis. What will really look to people is to balance out life-work, or work-life accordingly. What will come more into play there is personal discipline, no doubt in that. However, there will be many, like those over the years who tried to break spinning machines, like the Luddites of the past, who will hanker and for the past and bring up the ghost of Christmas past to come back and live in the future. Without a doubt, the past is dead. Our working environments will and have changed at a rate that we will not have seen for a period of time. And we will lurk in much more virtual opportunities going forward. There's only one word for us in our industry to look at when it comes to technology, and it's automate. It's the obvious one. It's the completion of our end-to-end automation, removal of human intervention completely. There will be no paper invoices. Everything should be electronic and mapped so they're fully touchless end-to-end. Even when we actually make payments, the checks will delve into significant virtual data banks, reference to the master data in the invoice, and approve accordingly. There should be no exceptions. We should seek that, and we should demand in our industry and from our suppliers here today to take forward no exceptions on this. We will have moved on from cloud-based to another version of the cloud, another stronger version, where overarching data and system platforms will all be concentrated and whole organizations will have one access to supply chain and customers. The cloud will no longer be the cloud. We will be in a further demonstration of that. One good thing for us in this industry is invoice capture and image capture therein will be significantly more accurate than we can even imagine from OCR and from our other technological current deficiencies. There will be photo-memory accuracy. We will no longer have to worry about header or line entry. It will all be done automatically through standard file uploads. The focus on goods receipting will change, in my opinion. We will no longer be focused in certain ways on massive three-way matching. We will look at auto-receipting more, EGRNing, and the way of two-way matching for significant spend levels more than ever before. Our focus will be on audit routines for error checking. Supplier catalogs will no longer be coming in on a month-to-month basis. There will be direct feeds automatically into base data. We will see price changes happen simultaneously as they happen throughout the industry. We will see ourselves focus particularly on the retail side, whereby our robots will challenge those price changes to be even faster. Payments will become touchless. Those who are working as payment controllers should be somewhat concerned about the future. The reality is, payments will be managed and run through the business. The approver who accesses the payment via dashboard will ensure that the funding is there to make them. The role of the AP payment controller will be to prepare and ensure available, but even that will be significantly automated. We will see faster and smarter AI, which is a must, as we know, for industry. Chatbots will mature. They will no longer take routine, but deal with complex AP queries going forward. And in some ways, that automation will ensure that it removes even more efficiency and effectiveness from a headcount basis. Error identification will be reduced because what the changes in routines and workflow adjustments already made from end-to-end automation will ensure there are less errors to concern ourselves with. We've got to ask, will there be further common trading platform? How big will Amazon get? If the share price today is £2,450, by 2025, will it be 25,000? At the rate it's going, who knows? But that focus in common trading platforms that's coming out of Silicon Valley and other hubs of innovation will drive that accordingly. Some of us will have sat at 8:22 a number of Saturday nights ago and watched SpaceX launch, a fantastic feat of engineering, and have gone to dock with the ISS only a day and a bit later. What's needed more, human and machine? I'm not sure we should ask Elon Musk about our industry, but I think where we will see is by 2030 that the first rockets will have left from Mars to colonize Mars in its own way. I think there will be no doubt of that. The agility of what we do is different, because I can see the same amount of people being employed in our industry as what's here at this moment. There will be less significantly current office roles available than what they are. Humans will be far and few between. What roles will they do? There will be managerial roles, there's no doubt in that. There will be super user roles, more focused on technical skills rather than training. But the AP administrator will now become what I call charmed life roles. They will become significantly specialist in query management. The role of auditing will change. We will see ourselves not looking at understanding and completing tasks, but more focused on monitoring systems, monitoring outputs and error ratings therein, and dealing with those IDOCs accordingly. There will be little human interaction on auditing going forward. Our chatbots will have matured beyond all belief, not just in voice activity, but in end-to-end query management. As I mentioned in the previous slide, there's no doubt about it, but the edge of automation will grow even further therein. As all transactions will head towards automation, transactional administrators and a lot of what our industry is about will no longer be needed. Now, it may be sad to see, but I think we have to face into that as professionals, as risk takers, and as the actual leadership of this industry. There will be fewer skill sets out there. Many will be involved in defect resolution, in last resort issue management. There will be much stronger analytical skills to understand what's going on, provide meaning information rather than the computer says no activity. Our administrators no longer become administrators, they are controllers. They are project managers, they are no longer processors. They are controllers of the query management to take us forward. And there's no doubt about it, but our human resource elements will have changed to become no more knowledge and skill based than just simple processors. That will have an upward impact on salary ranges and the development and training requirements that are needed therein. Data. We know bigger data. We've heard of enhancements therein, the data sets for ourselves. There's no doubt data complexity is going to increase for many reasons. Our industry is subjected to fraud at many elements. At least once a week, you read in the press, somebody going to jail for the defrauding of ERP systems. That will continue to be a challenge for ourselves and our organizations. However, enhanced coding routines for robots and technology will become far too complex for the human eye to break. There will be significant stimulation and auto-assimilation of trying to break our routines therein. However, we will grow our security routines. We will grow exponentially the value of data through the enhancement of control and compliance therein. We will converge data into single repositories, particularly for, I think, public bodies. There will be no longer differences between local, regional, government authorities. There will be one central database for ourselves of data throughout the whole of the UK. That may give rise to some people talking about the impact on human rights therein. However, we are moving to the age of data, moving into the third level therein. Full visibility will sit there, whether you're an individual organization. Storage will move into virtual vaults, without a doubt, moving on to the next stage of cloud computing. And our data connections, particularly between master companies, will be different. We will no longer update master data. We will allow those individuals who we operate as our suppliers to go into our systems on a controlled basis and update accordingly. What we are finding, though, is a massive upturn in data science and analytics. I am minded by a significant consultancy company that has paid a starting salary of £105,000 to graduates coming out of the Oxbridge, Red Brick and universities with first-class honours in mathematics to join their data science and promote them through MBA. Without a doubt, analytics is growing and growing. Therefore, the need of right data in to ensure analytics is right is even better. We will find ourselves with even gone beyond big data to even bigger data, combining the past of traditional statistical modelling with the future of deep analysis and deep understanding to take our intelligence forward. The analysis used by AI will be gone beyond machine learning to virtual understanding. We'll be utilising hologram data to drive 3D modelling of data rather than our traditional 2D modelling, and particularly use of meta planning and situational management going forward. Our forecasting ability will grow at a rate we have never seen in the last 50 years. The self-service of master data will allow us to focus ourselves on the quality rather than the integrity therein. Data and technology remain very strong bedfellows, as you can imagine, driving controls and effectiveness. If we take the example of China, where QR codes are scanned at every point for the purchases rather than the till receipt, at point of purchase will populate data correctly into our ERP systems, whereby automatic data inclusion will allow to automatic data approval. Data continues to be the king and queen of where we go, but will remain the lifeblood of our systems. And the enhancement of that will show ourselves to see even more AI and EI opportunities therein. Our supply chain will change as well. There's no doubt. We won't divide there and that in. Paper invoices will get wiped out, whether we like it or not just for basically electronic reasons, but for also the environment and all the good stuff we can do therein. Invoices will come pre-packed. File formats will be standardized. There will be one way of system uploading as we standardize that through it all. Audit checks will be automated. We will be stopping bad data, bad invoices coming in through front-end checks and automation therein. So therefore, we'll be blocking the roles and the bad data coming into our systems, particularly at invoice levels. If it doesn't have a purchase order, it won't get in. It won't be no PO, no pay. It won't be no PO, no process. It'll be no PO, no invoice. Invoices will also be linked directly to direct notification. We'll see approvals and payments checked a lot quicker because there will be a virtual basis of doing that. Supplier portals will also become bigger loading base. We have got to look at maximizing blockchain, which we'll have seen from today and later on as well for ourselves. Blockchain ensures that the supplier portals become tamper-proof and transparent. There's no longer a need for intermediaries anymore. The reality is that our transactions are visible to everybody therein. And we will use crypto technology to ensure that those blocks and records are linked securely to each other. That will be a phenomenal, and again, we'll see the benefits of what's happened in Georgia translate throughout the whole of the world therein. Customer service moves to self-service. If we think to ourselves, AP administrators and AP controllers and AP processors have a charmed life, we might wonder about the customer service administrator as well. No doubt, everything will be in one place at all angles. We will just seek a dashboard to see where we are, right the way through everything from payment dates to compliance levels to remits therein. Chatbots will be used for many other items, but there will be limited human interaction, as we said earlier. They will have got significantly mature and moved away from voice elements to making sure that we're dealing with AI and EI opportunities. What we do know is procurement will change as well. The front end of what we do and our source to pay and procure to pay will no longer be looking at getting the best deal. It will look at critical vendors. There will be reductions in some cases of up to 82% per Harvard Business Technology understanding of how they will be able to change preferred suppliers therein. We will look to sound, experienced suppliers to support us who understand process compliance rather than those who actually want to work against us. Onboarding supplier routines will no longer just be finance related. It will be significantly to deal with local regulation, global regulation, government and country certification, and all the elements that we need to trade in a more eco-friendly opportunities. And reporting, as you can imagine, will no longer be requested. It will be at the drop of our fingertips, available to appropriate audiences in the right way. Our slicing and dicing facility will be significantly stronger as we move forward. We've got to also consider the endpoint of procure to pay. How do we deal with payments? The future of cash and checks, debit cards, credit cards, and what do we do with expenses? I think it's fair to say here in the UK we have a bit of catch up to do there. I think with all the COVID-19, it's shown us the basis of looking at the impact of cash therein. And we do know, as the Bank of England told us, that basically cash has been declining over usage has been declining over a number of years. What we will see is approvals will move to full electronic purposes using biometric authorizations, either through DNA, fingerprints, or application purposes on smart technology, similar to what China does at this moment. That biometric data will be shared, it will be available on global databases, and again, there will be the concerns of human rights over that therein. Checks will be eliminated fully. We're well on the way to that, there's no doubt that will happen. We will see expenses, and we've made significant progress on the automation of expenses. AI scanning will focus more on fraudulent spend rather than approval purposes. People will be basically allowed to upload expenses, and there will be self-validation for payment purposes up to levels. The focus will move on reporting for one, analytics, and secondly, for discount purposes and identification of strategic supplier management. AI will revolutionize payments like we've never seen before. As the front-end systems change, the back-end systems will happen at the same time. Approval of payments with working with minimal information. In fact, as I said to you early on, the payment controller's role is something that will dissipate over time. Payments will be challenging, questioning and detecting questionable values. Items that are out of kilter will no longer require an individual or using spreadsheets or VLOOKUP tables. It will be automatically driving out that detail. We will be able to fit payment dates in to deal with cash management strategies based on our business needs, period of the years, priority markets of vendors and spend types therein. Over the last 2 years, we've seen cryptocurrencies go up and down. In the last period of time, Bitcoins have probably disappeared from some of the radar. Are there opportunities for cryptocurrencies to come back into our payment process potentially? If you have any organizations that you work with that sell jars for collecting loose change and notes, I'm afraid the end is near. They will be wiped out and decimated, as the future of cash, as the Bank of England has noted, is declining at a rate of knots. And by 2030, I predict that there will no longer be cash in utilisation in the British economy. In fact, in most main world economies. So, what next? What do you think 2025 will look like? What do you think 2030 will really look like? Did you think 2020 would look like this in 2015? Did you think that yesterday, the 8th of June, 2020, was going to look like from the 8th of January, 2020? How much has our world changed in that short space of time? Maybe an indication of where we go forward. What does the new world look like? I'm minded by a quotation from Atwood. We must stop optimizing for programmers and start optimizing for users. Our challenge to technology is manifold. The new world, as you can see there, talks about balance. How do we basically ensure that AI and the human interaction are right, and one doesn't overstep the other? It'll very much depend on the risk profile of your organization, your technology profile, your ability to invest in technology, whether you wish to be a leader or a follower in the world of robotics, automation, AI, and new world thinking. It'll be very much based on the organization as to where you want to go and take this to the next stage. However, I am minded by an old Japanese proverb from the 14th century. Never share your bed with somebody who doesn't share your dreams. The jigsaw of life in the future indicates that by piecing together AI, technology, and the human being, there's no doubt that we can work better, smarter, collaboratively, focused, in a trustworthy basis going forward. That balance is absolutely critical to our future, our success, and I challenge our software providers here today to limit the costs, but maximize the opportunities with us going forward. Thank you. Enjoy the future when it comes, and that's my view of good news from the next world. Ellen, I'll hand back over to you.